What up? What's going on, America? Man, every day I say we've got a lot to talk about, but folks, we got a lot to talk about today. But I'm going to start off with a bang. I got fact checked for my anti-child porn tweet that I made. Let me say that one more time for those of you who just spit your coffee out driving down the road. I got fact checked for my anti-child porn tweet. Okay, so I'm going to go through exactly this. All right, so the best way to do this is, I get these little notes from Facebook. But I want to read exactly what I said first. All right, so this is what I said. Again, this is a fact check for an anti-child porn tweet. Here we go. What I said was, Parler went down in 3 days because it's too dangerous, but web servers can't figure out how to get rid of child porn on the internet. Just putting perspective out there. That's what I said. One more time. Parler went down in 3 days because it's too dangerous for web servers. But web servers can't figure out how to get rid of child porn on the internet. All right. So this is the article from my favorite people, Lead Stories. They fact check me at least 3-4 times a month. This is the article. Fact check. Big tech cannot prevent child porn from circulating on the internet. So that's the article that they used to fact check me for the child porn tweet. I did not say big tech needs to get child porn off the internet. I said web servers. Okay? So big tech, when we talk about big tech, we're talking about Facebook, Google, Instagram, YouTube, Microsoft. Twitter, right?
Silicon
like Microsoft,
Valley.
All that other kind of stuff. Okay. But Amazon servers just dropped Parler from the internet.
In a heartbeat, too.
From the internet, okay? So web servers have the ability to get rid of things, all right? And my response, I love how the fact checkers will twist what you say and make it fit into their fact check article, right? What I said, what Graham Allen said was, why can't web servers figure out how to get child porn off the internet? I.e., for a fact that Pornhub has been documented. Yeah. It is a fact. Child porn goes on Pornhub. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, but Graham, Capital One has stopped accepting credit card payments on Pornhub because of these allegations. Well, if Parler is so dangerous because you say that it incites violence, right? So you drop it off the freaking internet, then why don't you drop websites like Pornhub and stuff? If you can't control Pornhub, and if porn, because they like to say that Parler refused to enforce the standards that they say they have to be on the web server. Well, obviously Pornhub ain't doing it.
Yep.
So why can't you drop them off the internet?
Yeah, and you don't even have to go to child porn. You can just go to other political people like Louis Farrakhan or Supreme Leader Khomeini. These people still have social medias.
Exactly, but it's more than social media. I wasn't talking about an app. I wasn't talking about anything. I was talking about the fact of they decided that Parler was so dangerous, they eliminated it off the internet. It is gone.
Yeah.
And as of yesterday, the CEO says they're not sure if it's ever coming back now because nobody will take them. Ugh. So they would have to completely build out their own server network.
Mm-hmm. It's like billions of dollars.
Again, to revisit this point, and this isn't even the biggest part of the episode. We've got impeachment to talk about, but this is the craziness here. Okay, if you can take out Parler in 3 days to completely eliminate them off the internet, I just need someone to explain to me how you have websites that are still on servers, that are still existing, that allow child porn to come in there without regulations like immigration. We're just letting people through, just letting it through.
We can't prevent all of it.
That teen girl does bad things. Turns out it wasn't an 18-year-old teen. It was a 15-year-old teen.
Whoops.
Child porn. Pornhub does it all the time.
Wait a minute.
Pornhub does this all the time, and they're still on the internet.
Yep.
That's all I was saying. But I got fact checked.
Even Yaku, he told us on YouTube, he showed us a video. He pulled up YouTube, and there was a porn.
People, well, and here's
porn.
another thing. Pornhub is so bad. And I didn't mean to get on porn today, but Pornhub is so bad because you've got actual people. Now, am I saying that, we've talked about this, the pornography train, right?
I don't know how Pornhub works.
Am I saying that watching porn is this thing that needs to be eliminated off the internet? We've already had those conversations. But what I'm saying is you've got adult people who probably have seen a under 18 girl in a video and didn't even know it because Pornhub labels it, like, ooh, teen babysitter,
barely
blah, blah, blah,
legal.
blah, blah. But yeah, barely legal, 18-year-old teen, like this, but they're really like 15.
Right.
Pornhub allows that to go on, and they allow that to happen.
It's disgusting.
It is grotesque. It is horrible. It is disgusting. The first time it happened, Pornhub should have been pulled off the internet. If Parler can get taken down in 3 days because some people said they were going to go to the Capitol on Parler,
Yeah.
that was their reasoning. But yet you've got literal hundreds, maybe thousands of websites of porn on the internet
Yeah.
that let child porn slip through the cracks, but those can't go down. That was my point. Mm-hmm. And they knew what my point was.
Yeah.
They can write algorithms to censor, or make us sure. They can censor all conservatives. They can figure it out. The tech is there to figure it out against conservatives.
The child porn industry, the porn industry, super simple. Freaking show your paperwork at the beginning of the video. Everybody knows it's like scripted fake stuff. Nobody really believes that you're like spying on people having
I'm the
sex.
plumber.
Right, yeah.
Here's my ID.
No, but I mean like literally it should have an FBI or whatever warning or label at the beginning of everything. Every single person in this video is documented, verified, over the age of 18, consensual, what's the word? Participant in what we're doing.
Lord knows the degenerates in the FBI are watching it anyway.
But again, all I'm saying is I got fact checked by therefore they are saying that my tweet is bad enough that it needed to be fact checked. And here's my other question. Even if I don't understand the true difference between what big tech can do and what web servers can do, it's anti-child porn tweet.
It's semantics.
Really the tweet that you want to go after for fact checking?
God, no kidding.
Of all the things that we could be talking about right now, and we're going to get into this, okay? All the things that are going on of violence between the left right now, all the rhetoric that's happening, all of this stuff that's going on, the anti-child porn tweet is the one that you really want to really stick it to Graham Allen about. Well,
Yeah.
Graham, technically, blah, blah, blah. I'm anti-child porn. Can't you just let that go?
Right.
Can't we just all as Americans just agree that child porn is bad and just shut up, man?
Yeah.
Just let us be anti-child porn.
I mean, is that a political stance now? Apparently.
Oh my God! It's just it's frustrating, right?
Yeah,
like I
Beyond
sit,
frustrating.
I sit here, and for those of you listening, I'm doing the anti what you're supposed to be doing on the camera. I'm not even looking at the camera. I'm just frustrated, of all the things. All right, moving on. Okay, we've got to talk about impeachment. Donald Trump becomes the first president in U.S. history to be impeached twice. Can somebody look while we're talking what the implications of that are? I'm pretty sure he can still run again.
I want him to get
Yeah,
impeached
he
a
can.
third time. That would be awesome.
Yeah, impeach him one more
Impeach him
time.
one more time. That'd
Wouldn't
be
put it
so
past him.
Find something else. But before we get into all of this stuff, we've got to get into a sponsor.
Let's do it.
But anyway, Simply Safe Everyone wants to keep their home and family safe, whether it's from a break-in, a fire, flooding, or a medical emergency. Simply Safe Home Security delivers award-winning 24/7 protection with Simply Safe. You don't just get an arsenal of cameras and sensors, you get the best professional monitors in the business. They've got your back day and night, ready to send police, fire, or EMTs when you need them straight to your door. I have Simply Safe, everybody. I am concerned about people coming after me and my family these days. It's just the time we're in. I love Simply Safe. It's pretty simple, straight to the point, and it works. You can set it up yourself in about 30 minutes. I did. It's super easy. Then Simply Safe professionals take over, monitoring your home 24/7 and ready to send help the moment there's an alarm. Plus, with Simply Safe, there's no long-term contract, no hidden fees or installation cost. Right now, my listeners get a free home security camera when you purchase a Simply Safe system at simplysafe.com/Dear America. You get a 60-day risk-free trial, so there's nothing to lose. Visit simplysafe.com/Dear America. Dear America for your free security camera today. That's simplysafe.com/Dear America. All right, so Donald Trump is impeached for the second time. First time in history. But you know, everybody already knows that happened. Okay. And I made a tweet yesterday and it took off and it irritated a lot of people because, of course, everybody always likes to say that it's not the same thing. Are you sure? Are you sure it's not the same thing? So here's my tweet here. And it simply says this. It goes, today, well, this was yesterday. So today, our elected officials decided to impeach a man who leaves office in 7 days. Now it's 6 days. They did this in a week. In a week.
Yep.
In a week, they were able to bring articles of impeachment together, write it all out, get everybody on board, into the chamber to vote in a week. It took them 8 months to make a decision to actually help the American people. The difference, one was a personal vendetta and one was actually about Americans. All right, so
100%.
think about that for 5 seconds, okay? Remove Donald Trump from the equation, all right? Because I know that there's some people that listen to this that hate me because we got a couple 1 stars.
Well, we appreciate your time.
And we appreciate your time, man. You
Go
know,
get a job.
Yeah, no, keep listening.
yeah,
keep
keep
listening
listening.
because we get to keep jacking the ad prices up every time you listen. So I appreciate
Slowly
you.
changing your mind.
Anyway, all right. So remove Donald Trump for a moment. Remove the fact that you hate Donald Trump. Our elected officials in government, and I'm sure they'll fact check me on this one too. Well, actually, it's much harder to get money to Americans than it is to impeach a president. Anyway, within a week, they were able to do the second most aggressive action towards a president you can take. They wanted the 25th Amendment, didn't happen, so they went after impeachment again. Okay? In a week, they were able to pull this off.
With no evidence.
With no evidence of what they actually said. They actually said that he incited the violence on Capitol Hill or the Capitol, which can be argued to death.
By saying peacefully and patriotically protest.
Exactly.
Those were the words.
I didn't hear any transcript in the video where you can hear it in his tone. His tone of saying, march peacefully to the...
Coming from AOC, who is like, yeah, if you're riding in the summer, do it.
Well, right, and we're going to get on AOC in a minute, but my point is, ladies and gentlemen, they did this in a week, okay? But for those of you, millions of Americans that are out of a job, for the thousands of small businesses who have closed, who now you're going to get $600 at some point, if you qualify... Because God forbid they use your taxes from last year to justify if you need it or not, because that's how they do it. It took them over 8 months to figure out how to do that. The difference is this was 100% politically motivated. This was 100% not a matter of if they really thought he deserved to be impeached or not. It was a final slap in the face to a man that they have hated for the past 4 years. What it proves is that the government is able to do things very quickly. It just depends on how motivated they are.
Yeah.
They are super motivated because they hate Donald Trump. They are not motivated because they don't love and they don't represent you as the American people. And Americans, left or right, should have to ask the questions, how the balls did they pull this off in a week? But yet Democratic business owners have had to shut their doors because it's taken them for freaking ever to get any kind of assistance or to make any kind of guidelines to open your businesses back up because they don't care about you. I would argue that they hate you, but that's, that's my personal opinion.
I also like how the riot turned into a white supremacy thing.
Oh, yeah.
In the middle of the hearings or whatever. Every person who went up there said this white supremacist in chief. It's like, did you see the video of all the people storming the Capitol? I'm pretty sure it was mixed races. There were black people in there. David Harris spoke at the event.
Which he very well may be facing criminal charges, by the way.
They had Israeli flags, too.
Yeah.
You can't say he's pro-Holocaust.
Joe Biden has already come out and said that he's considering every single person, not elected official, every single person that spoke. So Greg Locke, David Harris, Rogan from DC Drain, all these people that we know could be facing criminal prosecution.
Yeah. I saw this thread online with all these people turning in their family members. One guy said, my mother was at the event, and I'm turning her into the FBI today. So hopefully, like we would say, if Joe Biden starts to do this and starts to arrest clearly innocent people who just happen to speak at the event, that rational people on the left will see that and have a problem with it. Because if they don't, the country is screwed. But if they do, then maybe we can, see something positive out of this whole thing.
This is like the first circumstance of Joe Biden just doing what he's told. Like, people are just writing as radical speeches as he can read.
Yeah.
And he's just going off on the Republicans because it's popular and it's the thing to do right now.
Well, here's something that I hope this doesn't come back to bite us. Here's something I want to address. And it's conspiracy theories for a moment, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, there is no plan. There is no grandeur plan.
Yeah.
Donald Trump has not got one final thing up his sleeve. He hasn't called in the National Guard because they're fixing to arrest all of these people. That's not true. It's not happening. Jake, you're grinning over there. It's not happening. It's not true. Donald Trump has called in the National Guard because he is one step away from being imprisoned after all of this. If one other thing happens that they can, whether it is true or not, attach to Donald Trump, like I even heard reports the other day that he's thinking about he's going to have to go live in Scotland after this. Because nobody will do business with him.
Do it, man. Let's all move to Scotland and work for Trump.
But all right, but what I'm getting at is, and Jake, you even sent me an Alex Jones clip the other day. Mm-hmm. And even Alex Jones, this is how bad it is, ladies and gentlemen. Even Alex Jones is begging people, do not go to these anti-inauguration demonstrations.
I'm trying to stake an over Q. Do not go to these events. Listen, trust me.
Well, but
he's right. Yeah.
If Alex Jones is telling you not to go protest, something big and bad is happening.
Yeah.
They are waiting for you to do that. Just like I said that we fell hook, line, and sinker at this January 6th event.
Yep.
Is the exact same thing here.
Yep. We've been saying it for a while. Like, gun control hasn't been a topic of conversation in a while. Boom. There it is. First thing Joe Biden does.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, if you want to do an anti-inauguration thing, then go to Mar-a-Lago and have a big old huge Trump party in anti-efforts for this inauguration. Do not go to D.C. for this inauguration because I'm telling you, it's a trap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is a trap. And again, we talked about this on the last podcast. Trying to strategically go after big government because you believe big government has lost the will of the people, walking right into their trap, it's not the way to do it. Okay? Listen to me when I say this. Every single one of you that is saying that we need to go do this and we need to go do this now, you're a moron that has never been in the military, you've never fought in a war, you have no idea what you're talking about. Okay? This is exactly what you don't do in an actual war. In an actual war, you don't walk into what you know is a trap.
Yeah.
You know is an ambush.
And we also need to have compassion for these people because they've been, like I've said multiple times, pushed into a corner for 4 years. These people are hated, and we appreciate their passion and their patriotism, but sometimes you have to think bigger and think with your brain instead of your heart.
You got to work smarter, not harder. So in political terms, you can go and protest all you want, but real change is saying when your government tells you that you can't go to church, you go to church.
Yeah.
You don't just sit at home and cower that and let them strip the rights away from you as you go along. And then we all boil up into this big capital mess. And it's like, okay, 6 months ago, we could have just said in our own communities, collectively as Americans, we're not doing what you're saying.
Yeah.
And that would have saved the entire thing 100%.
Yeah, I agree. And so before we get into the next sponsor, and before we talk about everything that happened with impeachment and everything that's happened since then, I've got some videos to play you guys, etc. What I'm going to do, and it's long, okay? It's like 5 minutes, but I don't care. All right, it's my show. We're going to do what I want to do. I'm going to play you the speech that the president, yes, he is still the president right now, made from the White House account. And I want you to listen to the tone. I want you to listen to what he says. And then when we come back from our sponsor after this, we're going to play what the other side is saying. All right. So this is a message from the president of the United States. Like I said, it's a little long, but you need to listen to it because it's going to give you a lot of perspective here. I mean, I guess you could skip ahead till after the sponsor, but either way, this is what we're going to do. Here we go.
My fellow Americans, I want to speak to you tonight about the troubling events of the past week. As I have said, the incursion of the U.S. Capitol struck at the very heart of our republic. It angered and appalled millions of Americans across the political spectrum. I want to be very clear. I unequivocally condemn the violence that we saw last week. Violence and vandalism have absolutely no place in our country and no place in our movement. Making America great again has always been about defending the rule of law, supporting the men and women of law enforcement, and upholding our nation's most sacred traditions and values. Mob violence goes against everything I believe in and everything our movement stands for. No true supporter of mine could ever endorse political violence. No true supporter of mine could ever disrespect law enforcement or our great American flag. No true supporter of mine could ever threaten or harass their fellow Americans. If you do any of these things, you are not supporting our movement, you are attacking it, and you are attacking our country. We cannot tolerate it. Tragically, over the course of the past year, made so difficult because of COVID-19, we have seen political violence spiral out of control. We have seen too many riots, too many mobs, too many acts of intimidation and destruction. It must stop. Whether you are on the right or on the left, a Democrat or a Republican, there is never a justification for violence. No excuses, no exceptions. America is a nation of laws. Those who engaged in the attacks last week will be brought to justice. Now I am asking everyone who has ever believed in our agenda to be thinking of ways to ease tensions, calm tempers, and help to promote peace in our country. There has been reporting that additional demonstrations are being planned in the coming days, both here in Washington and across the country. I have been briefed by the U.S. Secret Service on the potential threats. Every American deserves to have their voice heard in a respectful and peaceful way. That is your First Amendment right. But I cannot emphasize that there must be no violence, no law breaking, and no vandalism of any kind. Everyone must follow our laws and obey the instructions of law enforcement. I have directed federal agencies to use all necessary resources to maintain order. In Washington, D.C., we are bringing in thousands of National Guard members to secure the city and ensure that a transition can occur safely and without incident. Like all of you, I was shocked and deeply saddened by the calamity at the Capitol last week. I want to thank the hundreds of millions of incredible American citizens who have responded to this moment with calm, moderation, and grace. We will get through this challenge just like we always do. I also want to say a few words about the unprecedented assault on free speech we have seen in recent days. These are tense and difficult times. The efforts to censor, cancel, and blacklist our fellow citizens are wrong, and they are dangerous. What is needed now is for us to listen to one another, not to silence one another. All of us can choose by our actions to rise above the rancor and find common ground and shared purpose. We must focus on advancing the interests of the whole nation, delivering the miracle vaccines, defeating the pandemic, rebuilding the economy, protecting our national security, and upholding the rule of law. Today, I am calling on all Americans to overcome the passions of the moment and join together as one American people. Let us choose to move forward united for the good of our families, our communities, and our country. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
All right, that was a message from the president, and we're going to dissect that and the messages from the left now. But before we do that, we got to get into a sponsor. All right, let's see here. Change the mood back. Jeez. All right, Brookhouse Nutrition. With everything going on these days, it's easy to get stressed out, and that wears down your immune system. That's why I recommend you take Field of Greens every day to make sure you're giving your body everything it needs to stay healthy. Field of Greens is packed with 18 clinically researched essential fruits and vegetables plus green tea, ginger, and beets. It's like having a bunch of fresh fruits and vegetables in a jar. Field of Greens can support heart health, your immune system, metabolism, blood pressure, and digestion, plus it's pre- and probiotic. Field of Greens is good for everyone, old, young, even the athletes. Put 1 scoop in a glass of water, stir, and you're done. Drink it while you're making your coffee. It takes 2 seconds, and you will feel the difference. Go to brickhousegraham.com. Dear America listeners, save 15% with the promo code GRAHAM.
Nice.
Also available in wild berry. It tastes great. Also, brickhousegraham.com, brickhousegraham.com, promo code Graham.
Wild berry.
All right, so to just touch base, to follow up on that video right there, ladies and gentlemen, the president talked about what we talked about before we played that. And I hate to say I agree with Alex Jones. I really do.
I knew you'd like that clip.
But I do. I think that they are praying that we show up on January 20th. I really do.
Yeah.
Across the country. And, you know, Alex Jones says a bunch of false flags happening across the country to demonize the conservatives, to literally put conservatives into a second-class citizenship status.
Which is what we've been saying.
I
thought he got it from our show.
He may have.
I do disagree with something that Trump said. He said violence is never the answer, 0 exceptions. I 100% disagree with that.
I 100% disagree with that as well.
He had to say it. It's politician talk, but
I 100% agree
wrong.
with that as well. But again, I say we are not there yet.
Sure. And back in 1776, the people who fought for America, it was like less than 1% of the country were the people actually fighting. So for these people who stormed the Capitol, it's hard to convince them that what they did was wrong, because it's always going to be a small group of revolutionaries.
I think what I can agree with is violence is never the answer for in regards to political debate and discussion.
Yeah.
Okay? Hang on. But there does come a point where there is no longer any debate or discussion.
Correct.
And then a declaration of war is stated. You know, we were talking about this in our sheriff's training that, you know, IEDs are on their way here. Guerrilla warfare tactics that you see in Afghanistan, Iraq, all that stuff. The police department is already being trained on that. They literally found an IED here in South Carolina.
Really?
Yeah. It was a freaking box with a teddy bear in it in the middle of the road. And thankfully, no citizen found it, and a deputy saw it and was like, that's awful weird. Didn't touch it, called EOD. EOD comes in, yep, it's a bomb.
God, what are the chances of that, too?
But that's that's the Taliban strategies right there.
Yeah. And that's what I said from the beginning, that's how they were going to fight, because they don't have guns, so they would literally hack people's bank accounts and do bombs. Hire literally ISIS fighters to do their bombing for them.
Right. Well,
that's the radical left's attack plan.
Well, back to your original point.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Violence is part of our freaking heritage.
Yeah, that's our Genesis story.
That's how America came to be. However, there was a very clear line of this, and that. It was the Declaration of Independence that started the war. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We have not declared anything.
Right.
There is not legitimately two sides that cannot agree to a point where now a declaration of something has happened. Okay? That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
All right? I agree 1,000,000% that there is no room for violence in the realm of political debate or discussion.
For sure.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that there's no room for violence in America, because that's just not true.
Right. The left uses it all the time.
All right. So, yes, they do. So, now that you heard the tone of the president, who is a conservative, who represents the GOP, who now the left is claiming are these racists, these violent, people that are, insinuating and inciting violence and all this stuff.
Tim Scott's the biggest racist of them all.
Yeah.
Anyway, 10 Republicans voted to impeach the president.
One from South Carolina, too.
Yep.
Tom Rice.
Rice.
Traitor. I'm looking at you, Tom Rice, right now.
I may just have to go take his seat from him in 2020.
Maybe
sorry.
So.
Anyway.
Sorry, not sorry.
All right. So it's bipartisan freaking impeachment.
Well, bipartisan. I mean, it's Liz Cheney. She's the definition of the swamp.
And Flake.
Yeah.
Was he one of them, too?
No, Flake's out of there.
Swalwell compares Trump to bin Laden, which I think is a bit of a stretch.
Well, they compared him to Hitler.
Whether or not Donald Trump legit incited and planned the attack on the Capitol, to compare it to bin Laden is laughable at best. Okay?
Plus,
dangerous, too.
Eric Swalwell.
Swalwell is Bang Bang and Fang Fang, who is legit a freaking Chinese spy.
Yeah.
Okay?
Holy crap.
The spy who shagged the congressman.
I didn't even think he liked women, to be honest with you.
Fang Fang.
Fang. Was that really her name?
I don't know, but everybody keeps calling her Fang Fang.
Well,
probably it's everyone else that's calling her.
I didn't just pull that out of my butt.
Okay, thank goodness.
Fang Fang is Bang Bang. Eric Swalwell.
Yeah,
and he is heading up the impeachment.
He's he's in all the photo ops. He's the one calling Donald Trump a traitor. We literally have a Democrat who has been a traitor to our country, and he's pointing the finger the other way, but he's not realizing it. He's got 3 fingers looking right back at him.
He has UBD too, uncontrollable butt disorder, where he can't control his butt. On live TV.
All right,
this guy farts on live television.
So let's
can't trust a guy like that.
That's a fact.
Let's go back to the contrast that I'm wanting to get to here.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, so you heard the tone of the president, but let's listen to some of the tones. So let's start with. Do I want to start? What do you guys want? You want AOC? Or you want CNN first? What do you want?
CNN. We got to take it up a notch.
Yeah.
CNN and then AOC.
All right. So CNN first. So
is CNN worse than AOC?
All right. Here we go. So this is Don Lemon.
It's close.
And Chris Cuomo talking about Trump voters.
Real power players.
Here we go.
Capital response.
Oh,
Everybody. God. Now what you hear is Well, you can't say that everybody who voted for Trump is like the people who went into the Capitol.
True.
Response.
You can't say that. What? Everybody's like
Everybody who voted for Trump is like them.
No, I just explained to you. If you are on that side, you need to think about the side you're on. I am never on the side of the Klan. I am never principal people, conservative or liberal.
It was the Klan?
Never on the Klan side. Principal people, conservative or liberal, never on the Nazi side. Principal people who are conservative or liberal, never on the side
Antifa?
that treats their fellow Americans as less than.
Listen
that
to the
says that
scholar.
your fellow Americans should not exist. That says your fellow Americans
Who said
should
that?
be in a concentration camp.
Who said
or
that?
sides with slavery.
Y'all said
or
that.
sides
Who
with
said
any
that?
sort of bigotry.
Right, and
You're
if
the
they say,
Democratic
I
Party.
don't agree with those people, I just like Trump's policy.
Well, then get out of the crowd with him. Get out of the crowd
I
with
wasn't
him.
in the crowd. I just voted for Trump.
You're in the crowd who voted for Trump. If you voted for Trump,
Can I go
you
back in
voted
time?
for the person
Not vote him?
who
Listen.
the Klan supported. You voted for the person who Nazis support. You voted for the person who the alt-right supports.
Y'all voted for the Communist
That's
Party.
the crowd that you are in. You voted for the person who incited a crowd to
No, he
go
didn't.
into the Capitol
We've proven that false. It's not true.
and potentially take the lives of lawmakers, took the lives of police officers, took the
God.
lives of innocent
hate
lives
police
who were
officers.
there on the Capitol that day. You voted on that side, and the people in Washington are continuing to vote on that side.
Okay, first of all, after that, scholar, let me get to this real quick. When the Black Lives Matter riots happened and police officers were losing their lives, to include retired police officer David Dorn, who was a black man, by the way,
Yep.
this idiot justified the riots. He justified them. Justified them. To this day, he's still saying that you can't compare the two.
And Cuomo said, remind me, what was it about?
Where
what
does
about
it? Where does it say that you have to
protest?
peacefully protest?
Yeah.
in the Constitution.
Interesting.
Okay, all right. So that's from the liberal news. The mainstream news now is basically saying that if you voted for Donald Trump, then you're a Klansman, a racist. You're pro concentration camps. Where the crap did he
Yeah.
get that?
Like,
The only thing I can think of is he's talking about when they're, the illegal immigrants, when AOC said they're putting them in concentration camps.
Oh, Obama did that.
When in fact Obama did that.
created the
What
camps.
about the pictures of Joe Biden literally with people that were in the Klan?
oh my gosh.
What are you talking about?
If Donald Trump, let's just thought bubble real quick. If Donald Trump is a racist, is a Nazi, he's the worst one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he stood up for Israel like no one has ever before. He gave money to black colleges like no one has before.
And you know, white supremacists like David Duke, actual KKK people, they love Ilhan Omar.
Yeah.
Like, he's literally said that because of his Jewish stances or whatever. So, you know who the Klan wants is an old white man Democrat.
Yep.
And they just got their person in.
All right, so we're not done. All right, let's take it up a notch. This was AOC mere hours after the
hearings.
impeachment. Mere hours. Here we go. All right, are you ready for this?
Yep.
All right, warning, there is language. So
I'm
if
not
there's
ready
children
for this.
listening, there is language in the video. So here we go.
I don't want to hear or see the Republican Party talk about blue lives ever again. This was never about safety for them. It was always a slogan. Because if they actually cared about rule of law, they would speak up when people break the law.
We did
They would speak up.
every time.
They would enforce fairness and equity, but they don't give a damn about the law. They don't give a damn about order. They don't give a damn about safety.
Here it is.
They give a damn about white supremacy. They care about preserving the social order and the mythology of whiteness.
Where's the fact check?
Than the grandeur of our democracy. That's what they care about. They lust for power more than they care about democracy.
All right. So first of all, if I were to go online and say that the Democrats lust for socialism and they only care about power and infiltrating socialism on America, I would be fact checked immediately. Where is the fact checker for this?
People of color supremacy.
Lord help me not to cuss. Where is the fact check for this woman to erratically go out and say that Trump supporters and Republicans, it's even worse than Trump supporters, Republicans. She said Republicans across the board, not conservatives, not Trump supporters, Republicans.
The entire GOP.
The entire GOP is concerned about nothing else but white supremacy.
Yeah.
Also, did you notice that she said equity instead of equality? This is the argument
Equal
that we've
outcome.
had along to, yes. Equality doesn't always equal being equal, right? They don't want equality. They want equity. They want everybody to have the same outcome no matter what it is that they do.
No matter
This
the
is
work.
socialism.
Yep.
That very phrase right there is socialism.
And you know, like a day before George Floyd, like if I ran into a black guy at the gas station,
You're white. You're not allowed to say his name. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's
you're
right.
not allowed to do
Sorry,
that.
Oh, my God.
GF. But anyways, like
GF.
it would have been nothing. I wouldn't have thought anything about it. These people, AOC, the left, Black Lives Matter, have brought us back to the 50s. Like there are more racists now because of Black Lives Matter and because of this rhetoric. Telling people they're racist over and over and over again turns them into racists. So they have brought us back in time. They have ruined race relations. Obama started it. He is the main reason why race relations are so bad. And now look where we are. We don't like each other. We don't trust each other. And that's all the left's fault, in my opinion.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to give you guys, the audience, a breakdown of the differences in tones. All right. So the claims that the conservatives and the Republicans are the ones that are inciting violence, the ones that are encouraging violence, I don't hear that. If you actually listen side by side between what the president is saying as opposed to what the mainstream news and actual elected members of Congress are saying, it seems to me like the left is unhinged. All right, we got one more sponsor, and then we're going to get into Dan Crenshaw. Dan Crenshaw is trending everywhere right now. And so I'm going to kind of put it up for debate. I'm going to read Dan's exact words, and then, we can discuss it. We're not going to talk bad about Dan. Dan is a friend, and I don't agree with Dan on everything. Me and Dan have actually had civil, disagreeing conversations in the past couple weeks. But basically, Dan is probably the most attacked Republican under Mitch McConnell right now. And we're going to talk about what he posted yesterday, and we're going to have a discussion about it. But before we do that, we got to get into a sponsor. All right, so we love Mike Lindell on the show.
Yeah.
So we want to encourage everybody to go to mypillow.com. I want to thank Mike Lindell for sending all of us, my entire family, literally just like 147 pillows at this point.
Nice.
And I didn't get one.
My Pillow is made in the U.S. It has a 10-year warranty, money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2021. Guaranteed to be the most comfortable pillow you will ever own, and I can attest to this. I was pretty skeptical. I was like, it's a pillow.
Yeah.
Well, what's the big deal? It is magical. I don't know how else to say that. It is absolutely magical. So going right now to mypillow.com, you can save up to 66% with the offer code GRAHAM or call 800-596-2509 and use my name. Tell them who sent you. Mike Lindell supports the president. More importantly, Mike Lindell supports pro-life, which is my biggest reason for supporting his company.
Yeah, that's right.
Pro-life is bigger than politics. Pro-life is bigger than an individual. Pro-life is about defending the unborn, and that's why I support Mike Lindell, and that's why you should too. So go to mypillow.com today, offer code Graham. All right, so let's talk about Dan Crenshaw. Dan Crenshaw. Now, he's not the only one who did this. This was signed by Dan Crenshaw, Chip Roy, both from Texas, Nancy Mace, South Carolina, and John Curtis in Utah. So I'm just going to read it verbatim. If I mess it up, I apologize, but I'm going to read it, and then we're going to talk about it. Okay. So he captioned this, "Why I Voted Against Impeachment." Okay, so that was and just to be clear, he voted against impeaching the president. All right, so here are the words. Unfortunately, rather than conducting a sober review of the facts through hearings and establishing the legal standards under which we would review all that transpired, our Democrat colleagues are rushing impeachment articles through the House of Representatives. Meanwhile, some are beginning to target members of Congress with blanket threats of censure that are void of specific examples to justify a censure vote. Taking these paths undermine due process as established in the Constitution and inflames an already starkly divided nation by politicizing what should be a serious and thoughtful bipartisan review. The American people should have a voice in this process, just as they should with all processes in the House. After all, a key driver of our division today is a federal city that has too long ignored the people it supposedly works for. This is just another symptom of an oligarchic Congress that won't give us the requisite time to deliberate and hear from constituents. Here, the people's house should be giving the people a voice through a transparent and deliberative process. Voting to impeach the president 7 days before his departure from office serves little purpose given the Senate will not be able to hold a trial by that time and risk establishing this impeachment as politically motivated. Furthermore, the articles are flawed, charging crimes that are lacking the requisite element of intent. For these reasons and others, we will not be voting for these articles of impeachment despite our strong belief the president's actions were wrong. Above all, we condemn last week's actions, but we also must denounce this rushed proposed reaction because we seek to stop division inherent in our current politics. Now is not the time for political maneuvers that offer no remedy to the problems facing our republic. A tree is known by its fruit, and this effort will bear nothing but further conflict and division. We must tone down the rhetoric and calm down the tensions, something that impeachment will not achieve. Donald Trump is leaving the Oval Office next week no matter what. Let our legacy be that we rebuild our nation by moving forward together. All right, so that's the whole statement. Now, people are pissed at Dan Crenshaw. And the only line that I read in that, and to be honest, this is the first time I read it. I read it in whole here on the show to have an honest reaction. The only line I can see where they're pissed is where he said, we believe
Donald Trump did was wrong.
Yeah.
What specifically, Dan? What action specifically?
Well, now we've had this conversation. I have even said I don't think the president should have gone. I don't think he should have spoke. If the president didn't speak, none of this would have happened. Well, what I mean is, if the president didn't speak and then they stormed the Capitol, they couldn't hold the president responsible.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have been able to even try to impeach the president. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think, and again, this is just my immediate gut reaction. And to be fair and transparent, me and Dan disagree.
Yeah.
On a lot of things.
I disagree with a lot of what
okay?
he says,
And
too.
me and Dan have talked about those things. However, me and Dan are friends. All right? And some of you, that's going to piss you off. But here's the truth. That's how it's supposed to actually be.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay? We should be allowed to disagree and still be able to recognize each other as human beings and be able to find similarities enough to be friends.
Right.
Okay?
You're never going to find a politician who believes 100%.
Me and Jake don't believe everything 100%.
Yeah.
You know, me and Noah don't 100%.
Yeah.
Technically, our religions are different.
Oh, well, kind of.
I mean, you know,
No, God, please, no.
I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not Jewish.
Our
Well,
religions
it's Jewish blood.
All right, so anyway, I'm just saying, I'm not Jewish. So, you know,
Kind of.
me and Catholics, we don't agree on everything, or I'd be a Catholic.
But
you know what I'm
here's,
saying?
like-
But well, hold on, one more second. Back
Go
to the
for it.
point. Everything else that was said in that. Now, also, a lot of people give Dan a lot of flack because Dan was a Navy SEAL, so they expect Dan to be like this gruff,
Right.
like I'm going to go in there and kick the door down kind of guy. Dan has like a law degree, like he's a lawyer.
Didn't he go to Harvard?
He went to Harvard, yeah. Like,
He's not a dummy.
no, and I think the biggest misjustice of Dan is what people assumed he was going to be like and what he was going to do because he's a Navy SEAL missing an eye.
Yeah.
All right. You automatically assume that he's freaking, what's the dude on Avengers?
Don't watch those movies.
What's the dude on Avengers? Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
What?
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury. Thank you, Zach.
Fury.
Nick Fury. No, people think that he was going to be like Nick Fury.
Yeah.
In there saying MFer every other, second and stuff like that. That's not who Dan actually is. And I have a lot of Navy SEAL friends. Some of them are very much the stereotypical drinking, beer and all this stuff and just screaming and cussing and hollering all the time. Dan's actually very reserved in real life.
Yeah, he is.
That's not who he is.
Right.
And he's even confided in me non-politically, just as a friend. I'm not going to get into those conversations. But Dan believes what he believes, whether you agree with it or not. And so the one thing that I will say that I like about Dan is even though he knows it's going to piss everybody off, he still does it.
Yeah. I think the main issue I have is that old Republican Party. As long as he starts to be a agent of change in the Republican Party, I'm cool with it. But if he, kind of falls in line with the party line, that's not good. And that's what Trump was, So for him to say what Trump did was wrong, I understand why people are upset.
I think the bigger reason people are upset is because that statement from multiple people, including Nancy Mace here in South Carolina, I think she's in big trouble in 2022. Just like Rice, I think they're both in big trouble.
Yeah.
Nancy Mace won her district by less than 6,000 votes.
Yeah.
All right. She barely won. Okay. But what that statement says is they believe that if it had been months ago, they probably may have. Well, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but it sounds like, they believe it was wrong, but there's not enough time to put the evidence in. There's not enough time to hear from the people. So therefore they're voting no because of that.
Yeah.
Not because they actually don't think that he should be impeached.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
that's why people are pissed.
It sounds like a politician, and people don't want that anymore.
Exactly.
They want a man to come in and say, screw this.
It is 1,000,000% a politician's statement.
Yeah.
And yes, I agree with you. People are tired of politicians, and I think that's where Dan specifically has found himself in between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
Because Dan...
They didn't want him to be a politician.
How do I say this correctly? Because me and Dan are friends, whether we agree on everything or not. So I'm not going to talk bad about Dan. A lot of people get mad at me. Why are you not, just tearing Crenshaw apart? I'm not going to do it. I'm not.
Right.
Just like if I were to fire Jake tomorrow and Jake just starts talking all kinds of crap about me, he's looking at me like, why are you bringing that example up? but he just starts blasting me, all of it. I wouldn't say anything. That's just not how I'm wired. People that I consider my friends, I don't turn my back publicly, at least, on my friends. Now, again, me and Dan have had a lot of private conversations that were not agreed upon. All right. But again, I go back to the point of that's how it's actually supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is we're actually supposed to be able to say, like, man, I think you're completely wrong in this. And honestly, I think that is exactly the problem, what you just did there. And then vice versa. He said the same thing to me about, what I've said and like, dude, you're contributing to the problem and blah, blah, blah. Well, I disagree with that. That's part of what we're actually supposed to be like.
Yeah, and we have too much division in our party alone. We have, if you don't agree 100%, then you're a subgroup of the Republican Party. The left agrees full force, all together.
Well,
we're fractured.
And just to be clear, I don't like the way that conservatives are going down because we're starting to go down the same road as the left, where we're saying if you don't do exactly what we think you should do,
the party line,
then you're a rhino, you're a traitor, you're a this, you're a that. That's exactly what the left does.
For 2 years, we have combated the cancel culture, probably even more than that. It's so toxic, and it just disgusts me when I look at the Republican Party. And after Mike Pence did a thing where, he wasn't going to review the votes or whatever, people just started saying, he's Judas. He's the traitor. He has done so much good for our country in the past 4 years. He has helped stand up for our military. He's pro-life, and you're just going to just cancel him like that. And with Dan Crenshaw, like, here's the beauty of the conservative movement and the Republican Party is that, like, there's many different spectrums and factions of the Republican Party, and we as Americans get to stand up and be like, okay, we can agree to disagree. We don't have to be like this cancel culture, toxic, out Republican woke the other one. I don't even know. It just
Exactly.
That's a 20-year-old, ladies and gentlemen. That's a 20-year-old preaching the gospel right here.
There
on
are
the
some
thing.
exceptions, though. We got Mitch McConnell. We got other people like that who we do need to cancel.
But there's a real difference between a stagnant swamp monster Republican and then someone else who's like, let's just review it, or let's, I don't necessarily agree, but I think Dan Crenshaw would, stand up and say, I think Donald Trump's done some great things in his
I do not
presidency.
think that Dan Crenshaw is a swamp rat. I don't.
He's not.
I don't believe
not.
that. And some of you that might piss you off, I'm sorry. I don't believe it because unlike you, I know Dan personally. Unlike you, I talk to Dan on a regular basis, just like I talk to a lot of congressmen on a regular basis. I'm not friends with any senators. Anyway, but
I think it's good, though, for us to be critical of our politicians.
It is absolutely good. But being critical and just canceling them because they did something you don't agree with, when here's the also truth. Dan is not the president.
Right.
Okay? Dan does not represent all of America. Dan represents his district.
Right.
That is Dan's actual job.
Right.
Okay? And that goes with all representatives, congressmen and congresswomen. So we as conservatives hate everything AOC does, right? But at the end of the day, AOC, as dumb as she is, she represents her district, which is a blue district.
Dumb district, apparently.
Dumb district. So she's going to back and do dumb things to us, right? Okay. Again, I'm not defending. I'm not doing anything. I'm trying to put the actual intellectual honesty in this conversation. Okay. If Dan Crenshaw decides to run for president one day, Dan Crenshaw is going to have to change a lot of the things he does. And that's just the truth. Because now you're running for everybody's vote. Dan's job is to not make all of America happy. That is not his job. Dan's job as a congressman, just like Matt Gaetz' job as a congressman, just like Madison Cawthorn's job, is it Hawthorne or Cawthorn?
No, Cawthorn.
Cawthorn.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, I had it right. Thank you. Yeah. All their jobs is to freaking represent the people of their district, not to represent the people of the United States. That's not their job.
Right.
Okay? And I get frustrated when people get mad because they are ignorant to the actual ways that things are supposed to be. Okay? Again, do I agree with the statement? Absolutely not. Do I think Trump should have been impeached? No, I don't. I don't believe it. I don't believe that Trump incited violence. But I'm not a congressman. I'm an opinionist. You listen to me for my opinions, okay? But I will say the one thing that I love about this show, the one thing that I love about us is that we are constantly learning as we go through this process too.
Yeah.
All right? And I cannot preach that context is everything and then not use context myself. Nancy Mace, as much as I think she's in trouble in 2022 and she's going to get voted out, she represents her district. I don't know what the Charleston district thinks.
Oh, they're a little bit.
They
got a sprinkle of blue in
They're
them.
a little purple down there in Charleston, okay? So, again.
Nancy Mace worked for Trump. I worked underneath her.
Exactly. But what I'm trying to say is she represents her district. That's their job.
Ultimately, she represents her own interest. And that's the problem most people have with all politicians is that they don't really want to help their district. They want to further their career. And that's what this left, right, back and forth.
They have to change with their district if they want to keep a job.
Yes, absolutely.
I personally believe that every single person that runs for office needs to run for office knowing that they're never going to get elected again.
Yeah, you get one shot.
You get one freaking shot. That's it. You get one shot to go in there like a freaking wrecking ball and change and disrupt anything and everything that you think there is. Well, 2 years isn't enough time. No, you're right. It's not. So maybe you give them 4 or whatever it is, but you get one shot.
Mm-hmm.
Senators, the same way. You get one shot. Senators get, what, 6 years?
Yeah.
You got 6 freaking years, dude or lady.
Yeah.
You better go in there and freaking do something.
I'm just sick of white people being in the Congress. Like, as long as we get rid of white
we need
people.
no white people.
Yeah.
No whites in the white buildings.
Thank God.
Here's the thing is that, sorry.
I was just saying, thank God the left elected their old white man. That was all.
Yeah, just like this is the same thing that left went down is like everyone has to be under the same exact opinions.
Yep.
Like there's no diversity of thought in the left. You have to be all the way crazy, and God forbid that happen to the Republican Party. Like we're not gonna be that party that's all the way this. And that's the beauty of the Republican Party. That's why we're the American Party. It's not so that we're, twisted and one person's going this way, one person's going this way. It's so that we can actually all come together, agree to disagree, and stand up for America. And that's the most American thing that they have. And that's the most un-American thing about the Democratic Party is that they've lost it, and now they're all the way back in crazy communist world, and they're all trying to unify under socialism. And
well, to piggyback on that, Matthew McConaughey, he was in the news today because the Daily Beast had an article that said Matthew McConaughey yet again flirts with the alt-right. I'm like, oh, who is it? And I click on the link.
McConaughey's a conservative. Yeah. I don't care what anybody says.
I click on the link, and I was like, I wonder which alt-right person he went on the show or whatever.
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson. He went on his show and he's like flirting with the alt-right again. If you think Jordan Peterson is alt-right, then we're screwed.
Anyway,
Screwed.
All right. We're getting out of time on this episode. Real quick, I want to thank everybody for the support of 912 United.
Yeah.
Because of your support, we not only shattered every record we've ever had, but we got our ad account turned back on yesterday.
Yeah.
Because of you guys. Yeah. So, if you want to continue to support, go to 912united.com. And every order of the Make Us shirt, we're donating 25% to the Barstool Fund at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And every Protect shirt, we're donating a portion to Parler's Defense Fund. So go to 912united.com right now and get you some pro-America apparel.
Yeah.
Jake, where can they find you?
Can't find me anywhere.
Oh, you're off now. All right. And Noah, what about you?
Noah_Griffith_. We'll see you there.
All right. I'm Graham Allen. Thanks for listening.